Снайпер! Контакт! Прикрой меня! Я должен перезарядиться!
Well, folks. Surprisingly, they have a Vickers MBT Mark I Proto, M47 Romach, and a Mark III Merkava as Russian. Copium. Copium is super hard. Also, they up tier the T54 D to tier 10 with the same orange tint of a base paint, so Israeli tech tree in the future, but Lesta Studios alpha patch, Russian server 1.32, one of the biggest patches including assault artillery, flamethrower heavy tanks for the Americans, and tier 11. But let's take a look at the new hidden vehicles. In this patch, we have the Israeli vehicles, technically, but a Dravec tier 8 Czech medium tank with an autoloader, a Tracteur D's nuts. It's massive. It's like a FCM F1. It's huge. And a Klevets, a large caliber Czech tank destroyer at tier 9. So let's take a look. Vickers prototype, main battle tank, 20 pounder, but also at tier 8, along with their Mark III, which has the L7. So our tier 8s are tier 10 on the Russian server. Their tier 10s are tier 8s on our server for some reason, but our Nemesis is at tier 10 for them. So weird switcheroo, but this is a 20 pounder Vickers Mark III turret on a prototype chassis of sorts. Bulge for the driver hatch, but they up armor the original like 50mm to like 100 or 200 on the turret. So originally the Vickers main battle tank doesn't have armor. It's about mobility and the gun and the L7 practically, but 20 pounder premium tank, rapid firing, lots of DPM, decent enough pin. Same goes with the gold shell. It's alright, but accuracy aim time is not bad. 4-man crew, fits all the Centurions, but firepower wise, 2400 DPM. Pretty good, without a rammer too. Accuracy aim time, pretty good too. Gun depression, traverse is a little bit slow, but not that much. It's alright, 40 degrees. 50 degrees is what you want, but that's still fine. So how good is the actual armor? 1350 health, not bad, but 115 for the hull front, 212mm for the turret front. That's historically incorrect, presumably, but that's a lot of armor for the Vickers main battle tank. Upper plate is about 170-ish to about 230. The driver bulge is not as well sloped, so that's why it's lower armor, but how the hell does this thing have 230 effective against AP? That's ridiculous. Turret front, 280 on the cheeks. The mantlet is more of a weak spot than the actual turret, so shoot the mantlet, but it's still about 240 to 220. Cupola weak spot on the top, but surprising armor on a Vickers of all things. Better hull armor than the Centurion Mark III at tier 8. The tech tree version. They call it the Mark I, it's a Mark III. But side armor, side skirts with 55 behind it. So you can also gun depress with very decent turret front mostly, but it's a rapid firing gun. Constantly detracts, so kind of annoying, but it is what it is. So high explosive is only 84, but that's still not that bad. Usually it's about like 60-ish, 50-ish with a 20 pounder, but mobility wise, 17.33 horsepower per ton ratio with 50 km/h top speed. Hull traverse is not bad, weighs about 45 tons with equipments, so could ram, but camo could be better. It's more like a Panzer 58, so as expected. And view range 390, so not that bad of a premium tank, but it is still, like with the Mark III Vickers, kinda bland. It's about the gun, but surprising armor on the turret and the hull front. Very surprising. But moving on to a M47 It's also at tier 8, but it looks like a 105 L7. It's not an American copy of the German or British gun. So, interesting. We practically have this vehicle in different parts. We have the turret. We have the hull on different vehicles. The hull is more or less like with the T69 in a sense. The turret is already on the M46. It's the upgraded turret, but it doesn't have the bow machine gun on the M47 chassis. They removed it. So L7 105. The turret's supposed to be very bouncy if it's the same turret as with the Tech Tree Tier 9, but let's see, premium tank as well. L7 105, DPM not bad for the gun power, but penetration is not as what would you expect out of the L7. It's only 210 compared to like 250, and 360 alpha. Does have the HESH RAM though. Accuracy could be better. Aim time, aim time's alright. 4-man crew. What the hell is this turret thing? It's a special turret. I have no idea what the capability is, but let's see if I can make out what the hell this thing is. 4 seconds or 20 seconds. There's a special mechanic with the turret. 400 meters of view range. 40 degrees per second. It can also focus on getting more view range at the cost of DPM. That might be interesting. There's a switch between the spotting mode and the firepower mode. You can also spot at 445 meters. So switching to it cuts your DPM. That's what I'm trying to guess. I cannot read Russian, but some of you guys could read Russian and tell me what the hell this thing is talking about, but it seems that there's a spotting mode or there's a firing mode. So switching to spotting mode gives you more view range at the cost of DPM. That's what I'm presuming, but alright, that's a new mechanic. Interesting. 4-man crew, yada yada. I mean, base DPM is decent, very good for tier 8. I mean, with the rammer, that's even better, right? It's also the L7, so packs a decent punch, just lacking the alpha, or lacking the penetration as well. So it's okay, but I think that's fine. How good is the actual armor? Same health as with the Vickers Proto, but how good is the actual turret? Cupola is still kind of huge. Yeah, cupola is kind of huge. It is a very troll of a turret front. Upper plate, about the same. Not as strong as with the Vickers, surprisingly. Lower plate 76. Yeah, I mean, it always go hull down with this turret, but it seems a little bit weaker than the actual tier 9. Mostly because of the cupola, the Irden cupola. Yeah, that's his Israeli design cupola, not the M1. That thing is huge. So I'm interested about the spotting mode for the turret. Special mechanics. You guys will tell me, but yeah, it gets more view range at the cost of DPM, surprisingly. Mobility wise, 18.5 horsepower per ton ratio. 48 kilometers per hour top speed. This thing could rev pretty quick. Surprisingly quick. Then again, the Russian meta and balancing is different than ours, so not the same actual atmosphere or environment of the meta comparison, but camo, as expected out of a patent, not that great. So, spotting view range is 445 in spotting mode. But what the hell is 4 and 20? It's not seconds. I think it's only direction. You get 445 in one direction, like a cone of view range. New mechanics, surprisingly, on the Russian server. Special spotting. So when your light tanks are dead, you are up to the task of spotting for your team. Switch to spotting mode. Give yourself more view range. Interesting. Alright, moving on. We have the Dravec, a tier 8 Czech medium with an autoloader. looks kind of like a light tank. I mean, some of the recent light tanks are huge, like with the Czech autocannons, but yeah, it's kind of Boresky, Batchatty, not Boresque, of a design, but hull is kind of wide. It is kind of a massive turret. Does it have armor? That's a question. Also rear mounted, like with the Merkava, just not as pretty. Not as well sloped as well. Kind of a short barrel too. It's a premium. 100mm, 3-round clip, 320 alpha. DPM could be better, but it's an autoloader at tier 8, so that's pretty normal. But 160 turret front, doesn't have the hydropneumatic suspension thing, so only autoloader. That's a special mechanic, but lacking a loader for the regular 𝗛𝗏 T50 and 51s. So alright, that's fine. But they don't have the crew stuff. The Russian server doesn't have the crew skill change, so there's no bonus skill for sharing crew roles or multi-role crew members. Haha! 2000 DPM, 0.36 accuracy, 2.88 seconds of aim time. I mean, it's faster to load between each shell than the actual aiming, so more of a close range burst of a gun, but 23 seconds of the reload. Not bad. I mean, for 320 alpha, that's alright. DPM is actually not half bad, right? Let's see. 1350 health again. The same with the Patton or the Vickers, but hull armor is only 70. It is somewhat sloped. And 160 turret front. Not that much armor. Might have some armor behind the gun for the manlet, but not much armor. Yeah, you can pin this thing whenever. Not that much armor. Does have shielding of side armor, side skirts of 5mm. That's nice, but yeah, this thing is basically a Batchat for the Czechs. It's a Batchat at tier 8, practically. Looks kind of like it too, just a bigger bulge of a turret. That's fine. Is it mobile? 1000 horsepower for 23.33 horsepower per ton ratio, 60 kilometers per hour top speed, about 42 degrees per second traverse. That's not bad. It's a Batchat at tier 8 for the Czechs of all freaking nations, but camo could be better. It's about the same as with the Vickers, right? So more like a average medium tank, not as stealthy as you would think. And 390 meters of view range. No special viewing or spotting mechanic with the commander for some reason. Alright. It's a fine whatever vehicle, right? It is a standard for nowadays of a premium, but alright. I mean, we cover lots of Czech vehicles on the Russian server too. The Lesta, but no, that's fine. Dravec. Oh my god. FCM F1, eat your heart out. What is this? Leave it to the French. There's a god damn it. Oh my god. It has an AMX-40 turret on the back end. It's a duck on the back end. It decapitated a duck and mounted to the rear of this big body. Oh god. It's disgusting. It's gross. It's at tier 8 by all means. It's huge. It's massive. Utterly disgusting of a design for the driver viewport. Or bow machine gun viewport. There's no machine gun, so just a bow gunner. That's a tow hook. That's not a machine gun. Unless you can poke a machine gun out of this. It's not. That's not a machine gun slot, so yeah, okay. Random crew view slits. That's only like a freaking rounded periscope. That's disgusting. Commander hatch is only one bulge. What the hell are you going to you're not going to spot anything with that. That's not even rotatable. You're just moving about in the cupola. That's not even a cupola. That's just a bulge for the commander. God, this thing is ugly. Disgusting. Massive. Only crew of 5. I would expect like crew of 8. This thing is disgusting. Tractor D. It's a 130mm. I mean, alpha damage is very surprising for a tier 8. Very 530. That might be the highest alpha, besides a large caliber like a tank destroyer gun. For a heavy tank, or besides a high explosive run like a BZ-176 or Caliban, that's a very high alpha punching gun. But then again, DPM is okay. It's like a T-34 heavy, but 233mm of pen, 0.4 accuracy, 7 degrees gun depression, 15 degrees per second of traverse for the turret. It's slow. Takes about 15 seconds to reload with the rammer. 2.88 seconds of aim time is surprisingly fast. It's not great, but it's surprisingly fast for such a big ass vehicle. But how good is the actual armor on this gigantic beast? 1700 health. As expected, it's a big ass vehicle, but 150 hull front, 320 turret front, 255 at the base plate, 210 on the bottom plate. Shoot this little upper plate right here, but turret front 320. You could shot trap into the turret ring. That would be kind of funny, but commander bulge is 230. It's not exactly a weak spot, even though it looks like it, but it's not a cupola. It's massive. Side armor is 100. There's a metric ass ton of tracks and space armor covering the sides. I mean, above the tracks is only 100 without any of the shielding, but Jesus. You could shoot the AMX-40 turret on the back end. That's only 60mm. You can also reverse side scrape, which also helps out with the weak mini turret, but lots of shielding, lots of space armor too. Back of the engine deck is only 100, surprisingly. Don't count the AMX-40 turret, it sucks. This thing is disgusting, it's ugly. And I presume it's slow. Yes it is. 8 horsepower per ton ratio. It's a 1,250 engine power. Weighs 150 tons. Top speed of 22. Reverse of 8. Hull traverse crap. Turret traverse crap. It's slow. Has lots of armor though, but yeah, shoot it with high explosive from artillery shell. Or assault artillery, by all means. This thing is freaking massive. Disgusting. I mean, it's a big target for gold shell. Like tier 9 spamming gold shell. Eats right through. I mean, could eat right through the debating. I mean, they could just shoot this plate. That's the weakest plate. Or the commander bulge, but no camo. I mean, 2.7 is still better than 0 in some cases, but this thing has no camo. It's better than the Char 2C, FCM 2C, surprisingly. They're both big, but view range is surprisingly not bad, considering you have a little round hole for actual view range. This thing is disgusting. What is the terrain resistance? Can I see it? No, I don't see it. Hidden parameters does not show up, but I would expect like 8-man crew for this thing. It's disgusting. Okay, moving on. Klevets, tier 9, Czech tank destroyer. It's not a premium. Battle pass for 2025. Interesting. 5-man crew, 2 loaders, a 152. Hull kind of looks like a VZ55, right? It's practically what you do to a WZ-114 SP2, just a bigger turret. So put a large turret on a heavy tank chassis, and there you go. That really looks like a VZ-55 chassis. With a big ass turret and a big caliber gun. Huh. I mean, they don't have the DBV-152 at tier 10. So, big caliber gun. It's only 650 alpha though. And DPM is not too crazy, but 8 degrees gun depression, about 23 degrees per second of turret traverse. It should be a fully traversable turret. It's not a pseudo turret. 2,400 DPM, 0.4 accuracy. Aim time is relatively quick. And penetration is not that bad, right? 270. Gold shell, 320. High explosive is high explosive, but does it have armor? 243 on the turret. 200 on the hull front. It is the VZ-55 chassis, I believe. Wow, this thing has turret armor? What? It's only 200 at the base plate for the gun, for the mantlet. Anywhere else it's 243 sloped. There's shielding above for the gun. That's the space armor for the mantlet. But cupola, not even a weak spot. Don't even think about it. It's 230 for the cupola. Upper plate, slope 90. Not as strong as the VZ-55. 200 for the bottom plate. That's a troll. That's a definite troll of a bottom plate. Shoot the upper plate. But then again, gun depress with that turret armor. Yeah, it's 200 for the mantlet. So always shoot the mantlet. But side armor is 105. Not bad. There's no space armor for the mud guards, unfortunately. This thing is huge. It's 18 horsepower per ton ratio with 46 kilometers per hour top speed. It is surprisingly nimble. Surprisingly with that much armor too, and gun depression. So play this like a freaking T30, but T30 does not have 18 horsepower per ton ratio though. 9.75 camo. It's a heavy tank. And 370 meters of view range. It's a heavy tank. It's a assault tank destroyer. Yeah, assault tank destroyer. But close range, large caliber gun. They have a double barrel too, right? We covered it originally. But that's fine. I mean, they need a battle pass token tank. So this is one of them. But finally, Copium Super Hard Merkava LP. It's a Mark III Merkava with a 120. The Mark I and Mark IIs have a 105, but L11A1 Continental 1250 engine power, 4-man crew. Gun is not bad. I mean, 440 alpha, so comparable to the Chieftain hybrid, but about 3000 DPM, 0.35 accuracy. Accuracy could be a little bit better, but 7 degrees gun depression. It's a medium tank. And 46 degrees per second of turret traverse. 1900 health. 125mm on hull front, well sloped. And 300 on the turret front. Actual effective armor is surprisingly not as strong. 75 for the driver hatch, sloping. Bottom plate is 125. Where the hell is the 125 on the hull front? The beak? The beak. 175 on this little plating right here, but turret armor is the main bouncy part of this vehicle. The commander view slit or commander vision system is only 200. That's a weak spot. It's more like a medium tank, right? It's not a heavy tank. So hull armor doesn't expect to bounce that many shots. There is space armor for the sides. It's only 50 with the 20mm tracks, but It's a medium tank. You would think it would be a heavy tank, but no, it's a medium. 22 horsepower per ton ratio. 53 kilometers per hour top speed. It is nimble, but it's not that crazily fast. So, yeah, it could be Clan Wars of a vehicle. Camo could be better, but goddamn, Merkava is nice looking. Definitely nice looking. It has rocket pods? No, just a stretcher or a chair. I thought it was rocket pods. And view range 410. That'd be not bad. It's not exactly space armor on the turret. That's fine. I mean, it's about the gun, right? It's always about the gun. You have some bounty turret armor, but hull armor is surprisingly not the craziest. Easily pinned. That's fine. Well, there you go, folks. Israeli tech tree belongs to Russian for now. Okay. Like I said, they up-tiered the T-54D. It's not German. So also with the orange base paint as well, but they also buff it. Not the same stats as with the German Tier 9, so definitely better DPM and accuracy, aim time, mobility as well. 17 horsepower per ton ratio. Yeah, definitely. But we already covered this vehicle already, so whatever. And finally, one new skin for the Toro, not the Toro, the Orso. It's a Toro with the forward mounted turret. So we already covered this vehicle, but this is their next assembly shop vehicle. And surprisingly, the Russians don't put that much effort into assembly shop camo or 3D style, right? It's a camouflage net. The same with the Su-122V or the XM57. Their tier 10 is our tier 8. Do I still have the camo on the res file? I think I do. No, I don't. I took it off. Crap. The same applies to the BZ74. I have to mod the skin in, but it's Chinese BZ74. Recently debuted as our tier 8 heavy tank. Oh crap, I took off the skin. My fault. It's just a camouflage net. Go back to the original video, but yeah. Just a camouflage net for their assembly shop. I can show you the actual assembly, that camouflage net for the BZ74. There you go. Also for the XM57, but let's see, XM57. The Orso, same assembly shop icon. But where the hell is the XM57? They already had it. Yep, there you go. Assembly shop with the camouflage net. I forgot to mod it in for the comparison, but just one new skin. That's their assembly shop. Our assembly shop should be DBV 152. Or possibly, no, MBTB is way too recent. They're changing it way too much. I don't think it's the MBTB. So our assembly shop coming in like a month or a little bit earlier, I presume is the DBV 152. That's the only other tier 10 that we have ready in a sense, but it's at tier 10. Check. DBV 152. We already covered this vehicle too, so I'm guessing this is our next assembly shop vehicle. It's alright. I mean, dispersion while moving sucks, but it's not as bad as with the Grill 15, so it's like a Tauren 152, Su-152 for the check, in a sense. But we have already covered the Orso, the Lasac, the Pagod, is what the hell they call it. So some of the vehicles you would think would be new, but we already covered it. The Orso, the Lasac, the Pagod, the WZ57-1. We already covered all of these. For the next few videos, we'll cover the assault artilleries. They added the tier 8, tier 9. But we already covered the Object 261 version number 4. So now they added the Object 715R. Oh god. It's like an IS-4 with the artillery gun. So we'll cover the assault artilleries. We'll cover the regular flamethrower tanks for the Americans at tier 9 as well. So American heavy. They call it the TF2 Clark is from personal mission or special mission set, not the TF4. So quad track, flamethrower. We'll cover all of these along with the tier 11s. So they actually added the models for the tier 11s. So this one is one of my favorite, the BZT-70. This thing is utterly massive. It's like a Doom Turtle had sex with a turret. And there you go. It's a massive beast. So we'll cover all the tier 11s, the assault artilleries, and the flamethrower next. But there you go, folks. New hidden vehicles on the Russian server. So copium of Israeli branch as Russian first. But I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
На границе тучи ходят кура, край суровый, тишиной объят. У высоких берегов Амура часовые ночи стоят. У высоких берегов Амура часовые ночи стоят. Там врагу